Welcome to my channel. Back with another movie recap. This is drama, horror and thriller genre movie and it has 6.5 IMDb rating. The name of the movie is Gerald's Game and release year is 2017. The film is about a couple with an attempt to reignite the passion in their marriage. Jessie is left handcuffed to a bed in a secluded house with her husband, Gerald, dead. Not only must she break free but she must avoid being killed by a wild dog that figures that Jessie is on the menu. Then she starts to hallucinate and reminisce. I hope you enjoy watching my recap and as quick reminder this video contains spoilers. To get away from it all, Jessie and Gerald go to a remote lake cottage in Fairhope, Alabama. Whilst Gerald consumes his Viagra, Jessie goes outside to feed a stray dog. Upon returning to the house, she finds the door slightly ajar. Before striking some sensual positions, Jessie puts the hangtag from her new nightgown on a shelf over the bed. Gerald finishes out his water glass and then takes another Viagra, leaving his original on the same shelf. He binds Jessie's wrists with a shackle and secures them to the bedposts. Despite her apparent astonishment, she agrees to go along with it. Knowing that no one will listen, he starts acting out a rape fantasia in which a stranger rapes her. He responds, "What if I won't?" to her request that he remove her handcuffs, and she reluctantly plays along until she gets uneasy. Gerald passes away from a heart attack after a violent dispute in which he accuses her of doing nothing to attempt to mend their relationship. Gerald's death leaves Jessie bound and gagged. As Jessie attempts to frighten the dog away, it charges in, rips Gerald's arm in half, and devours the flesh. Gerald gets to his feet and starts to speak, but Jessie sees that his corpse is still on the floor. The realities of their troubled marriage and his erectile difficulties are the targets of his insults directed at Jessie. She is about to experience dehydration and exhaustion, he tells her, and she has already squandered hours doing nothing. By some stroke of luck, Jessie frees herself from her cuffs by removing a hand. While Gerald hears her gloating, she spins around to reassure herself that getting out of here is easy. She never mustered the guts to admit it, but Gerald and a confident Jessie reveal secrets about her and Gerald. She is jogged to recall that she can reach the glass of water on the nightstand, but she is unable to lift it to her lips. She tries to get to the water by rolling the tag she placed on the shelf into a straw, but her delusions keep bringing it back. A towering, distorted, veiled figure emerges from the darkness as Jessie awakens from her slumber, and the entity unveils a bag containing a collection of bones and other objects. Under her slack gaze, she murmurs, "You're not real." But it seems like Gerald is claiming that the figure is death, ready to claim her. It frightens Jessie when Gerald starts calling her Mouse. "When I think of her dad, Tom, I think of how he used to call her Mouse." Alongside her family, she is on holiday at a lake cottage. She is 12 years old. While Jessie and her dad enjoy a quiet eclipse viewing outside, her dad recommends that she take a seat on his lap, much like she did when she was little. He masturbate on his lap once. When shackled Jessie wakes up, she feels excruciating discomfort from cramps and a lack of blood flow. Gerald and the self-assured Jessie are doubtful of her assertions that she managed the stress of secrecy and that it was unrelated to her marriage, despite the fact that she wed a guy identical to her father. As Jessie describes the deformed man she saw, Gerald mocks her, referring to him as the man made of moonlight and pointing to what he thinks is a trail of blood on the floor. Following the eclipse, her father controls her into promising that she would never tell anybody about what he did, saying that he was embarrassed of it. In response to her mother's question about the eclipse that night, Jessie clenched a glass too tightly, slicing her hand. After breaking the water glass, the grown-up Jessie sustains a wrist injury that she uses to peel back the flesh, releasing her blood-stained hand from the cuff. Moving the bed closer to the key, she frees her other hand to open it. She takes care of herself by drinking water and applying bandages, but she eventually faints from exhaustion and blood loss. She finds the man made of moonlight waiting for her at the very end of the corridor when she awakes, and she trades her wedding ring for his treasure trove. As she gets in her car and starts to drive away, she spots the man in the rearview mirror once more. People from a neighboring house rush out after seeing the automobile smash into a tree. After 6 months, Jessie is still having trouble writing with the hand that required skin grafts as she writes a message to her 12-year-old self. Scenes and voiceovers show how she acted as though she had forgotten the entire trauma of being confined in order to avoid asking uncomfortable questions. She established a fund to aid sexual assault survivors with the help of Gerald's life insurance. However, she still sees the man made of moonlight every night before she goes to sleep. The news informed her that a guy with a condition called a deformity of the skull is a serial murderer who excavates tombs, steals jewelry and bones, and, every once in a while, eats the faces of male victims. She also learned that her wedding ring was never located in the home. That clarifies why he refrained from hurting Jessie in the house and also the reason for Gerald's deformity. Just before the moonlit guy is about to be sentenced, Jessie shows up to court and demands his attention. Upon noticing Gerald's and Tom's faces in his place, she exclaims, "You're so much smaller than I remember," before confidently striding out into the street, basking in the sunlight. That was recap of Gerald's Game. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed my recap, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe to not miss videos like this.